Sorry it's been so long, guys, but I got carried away. Anyway, on with the third instalment of Star Trek: The Next Fornication. Shit! She said, whipping her finger out of her cunt and sitting up on the edge of the bed. Shit, shit, shit! Fuck, piss! Shit! Fuck, piss! Shit! Fuck, fuck, fuck! Piss, piss, piss! Shit, shit, shit! Fuck! She brushed her hair from out of her face, where she had whipped around and pushed the button to answer the view screen. Crusher here. What is it now? Someone with a hangnail? She said sarcastically, somewhat out of breath. Despite the fingering, she hadn't yet had a good come. She was out of breath and panting, and almost reached the peak of a mind-blowing orgasm when the intercom had buzzed. It was ship's counsellor Deanna Troy. Smiling smugly and knowingly, she chuckled in a thick accent. Why, Beverly, I hope I'm not interrupting anything, important, she said, her eyes locked on Beverly's magnificent breasts. Getting her teeth with sexual unfulfillment and lifting the camera up, Beverly responded, What is it, counsellor? You are needed on the bridge, Dr. Beverly. Mr. Worf has cracked a joke. Only he didn't think it was a joke. But everyone else did. And Mr. O'Brien was laughing so hard, he slapped Worf on the back, and it broke his hand. Tell Mr. O'Brien I will meet him in sickbay. Crusher out. She stepped off the intercom and stormed out of her room towards sickbay. Her tits were rolling and bouncing when she realised that, in her anger, she had forgotten to get dressed. Her voluptuous naked body was greeted by a whistle, but mostly by open-mouthed, lust-filled stares from both men and women. Just seeing if anyone is paying attention around this fucking place, she said, whirling around and headed back to her cabin to get covered up. Her ass and tits jiggled invitingly. Back on the bridge, Chief O'Brien headed for sickbay. Troy was still smiling smugly. She had felt Beverly's sexual frustration. She knew that the good doctor was ready to drop trow for the first entity to look at her twice. Maybe she could be that entity, after all. It had been almost 48 hours since she last had a good mouthful of pussy. She glanced lovingly at Tashi Yar Station. Permission to leave the bridge, sir? Riker said to Picard. I have some disciplinary actions to take. Permission granted, number one, Picard said. And speaking of number one, I have to go to the little captain's room for a minute. Lieutenant LaForge, you have the bridge. Aye, sir, LaForge said. LaForge was blind, however he wore a visor, which stands for Visual Infrared something or other. Did anyone suspect that it also contained a wicked laser disintegrator ray to vaporise ignorant types who couldn't spell Geordie, spelling it with a J or a G instead? He always thought it was simple, like George, only with a DI instead of a GE. How many people would spell it as George or Gorge Washington? Why were the idiots so fucking stupid that they couldn't spell Geordie? Geordie, Geordie, Geordie. Okay, let's see what this baby can really do. Helm! Keep us going in our current direction, but put us nose down. Aye, sir, came the reply, and Geordie smiled to himself. When the cat's away, the mice'll play, he said with a grin. Back in Wesley's cabin, The boy was beginning to lather up and wash off the cum. He didn't hear the cabin door swish open and shut, nor did he see the shadowy figure outside the shower cubicle. Commander Riker massaged his growing boner through his pants. The young ass was tender as any as he'd seen, and he had poked his rod up many tight buttholes on females and males. Part of academy training and initiation, he would tell them. He stripped and waited, his cock arching upwards, throbbing in horny anticipation. Wesley began soaping. He soaped his arms and chest. Then he soaped his cock and reached around to soap his ass. He then reached down to soap up his legs. That was the moment that Will had been waiting for, and he entered the shower. "Surprise!" Yeah, Riker said, as he boned young Wesley up the ass. "Jeez! Hey! Fuck! Ow! What the fuck is going on?" Wesley yelled. "Just relax. You'll get used to it and enjoy it," Riker commanded. Because any movement was painful, Wesley complied. The huge cock was going in and out, and he bent over to make entry easier. But he was beginning to enjoy the stimulation in the huge column of meat rubbing against his prostate. "Oh, such a big cock!" Wesley grunted. "Yeah, it's 9.5 inches long. Just bend over further and I'll get deeper penetration," Riker said. "If you think that's big, you should see Picard's. Of course, he goes only for women. But if he ever changes his mind, don't let him show you what he calls the captain's log." "Ha ha ha! Captain's log! That's pretty funny." "Not only are you a good fuck, but you have a sense of humour." "I find that rave in a man," Wesley said. Grabbing Wesley's hips, Riker thrust hard and deep, squirting his cum at Wesley's ass. "Ah!" Riker grunted as he pushed him to the limit. After the cum subsided, Riker showered off and left Wesley collapsed on the floor. Wesley's dick was hard again, but he was too exhausted to do anything about it at the moment. Slowly he got up and hobbled out of the shower. He put his pyjamas back on and he got into bed. His dick was sticking up, and he wished for Tasha or his friend to suck it. But he didn't want to come too much today. "I'll let it build up for a day or two, then get it sucked," he thought to himself. "But who will do it?"